First of all, I'd like to welcome everybody here to the Burlington High School annual alumni meet, which the man we're honoring this evening started many, many years ago. And I'd just like to say a couple of quick remarks before I turn it over. My name is Rich Bazewski, and I coached with Rick Hayes, the man we're honoring this evening, for 19 years. 19 years of unbelievable mentorship. He's one of the best men I've ever known, and there's no one more deserving than him for this award this evening. And the other person I'd like to thank is Linda Bannon, who tirelessly worked very hard to have this evening happen. She put a lot of work into this, arranging it, and it's been in the work for quite a while. So I'd like to give her a round of applause. And with that being said, I'd now like to introduce Linda Bannon.
Thank you. Well, it's been a long time in the making, like Rich said, but I want to start off by thanking the administration and athletic director, Sean Hart, for acknowledging Rick Hayes' career as the boys gymnastics coach. It's awesome to see so many alumni and guests here tonight to celebrate Rick's impressive coaching career. Success is the peace of mind in knowing you made the effort to become the best you are capable of being. And having someone who believes in you and inspires you to believe in yourself is the greatest gift. One man's belief in Rick set the course of Coach Hayes' career. Athletic director Dick Verzone saw something in Rick when he hired him to be the gymnastics coach. Verzone believed in Hayes and mentored him. Rick paid it forward, and today he is being honored for mentoring and believing in more than 1,000 student athletes. What a fitting tribute to dedicate the gymnastics gym in his honor. Everyone in this room was impacted by Coach in some way. Coach Hayes laid the foundation that built this program into a tradition of excellence. Rick coached gymnastics for 37 years. Through his tenure, he had multiple league all-stars, Boston Globe and Herald All-Scholastic athletes, and 6 Gymnasts of the Year. Rick also earned 2 Coach of the Year honors as well. Aside from the awards and championships, Rick's biggest accomplishment was making all his athletes believe in themselves and realize their full potential. Rick was demanding as a coach. He had high expectations for every athlete on his team. Coach Hayes made sure all his athletes were treated with dignity and respect. It didn't matter how good you were, whether you were his #1 gymnast or a beginner learning the ropes, every athlete developed a sense of self-worth and acceptance and was treated as a valuable member of the team, which translated into a tradition of winning. Rick created an atmosphere of pride and discipline that started with his alumni meets and senior leaders. These role models led the team as they endured intense training sessions. Coach developed great leaders who knew how to work to be better every day, and there was a trickle-down effect. Having hardworking seniors who knew what it took to be the best and how great it felt to nail a routine was infectious. The athletes responded to Rick's coaching style with amazing feats of effort, day in and day out, year after year. Winning was contagious. When an athlete didn't perform their best, there was always a teammate there to pick up the slack and help manage to find a way to win. And did they win? They say great coaches pay close attention to the little things. Rick's attention to details contributed to winning 23 league championships and 6 state titles. Coach Hayes finished his career with an amazing record of 214 wins and 38 losses for a .839 win percentage. Rick was more than just a gymnastics coach, he was a life coach. The life lessons taught through the medium of gymnastics by Coach Hayes were immeasurable. Be on time, always give your best effort, work hard, be prepared, challenge and trust yourself, face your fears, be a good sport, always look your best, hold your head high, and most of all, salute the judge with confidence. He respected his athletes as young men, and his team responded by developing into confident, self-assured, successful adults. The progress each athlete made over the course of 4 years was incredible. Success to Rick was more than just wins and losses. The team stats were a byproduct of years of hard work and determination. There were students who came out for gymnastics to find themselves, And Rick was there every step of the way, guiding, nurturing, and demanding each athlete's best effort. Coach speaks of two prominent athletes who stand out as examples of what a great work ethic and dedication can create. One such athlete, Rod McKinnon, who won the Nobel Prize in Chemistry, said, "Teachers said I was a daydreamer, but Coach Rick Hayes said I could accomplish beautiful things through hard work and discipline." In an excerpt taken from the Nobel Prize presentation, McKinnon wrote, "I had a very good no-nonsense teacher, Coach Hayes, who really instilled in me the idea of perfection through practice." Rick also spoke highly of former gymnast Steve Nuno. Steve received a full scholarship to UMass for gymnastics and later became the head coach at the University of Oklahoma. Steve coached Olympian Shannon Miller, who was a member of the 1996 gold medal team. Rick was devoted to elevating the gymnastics program into one of the best in Massachusetts, which is what makes tonight's gathering so special. Rick Hayes is a man of great character. As a coach, he was disciplined, demanding, and motivated. As a person, Rick was a friend, mentor, and role model. Rick's passion for the sport of gymnastics was second to none. His commitment to all of his athletes is what built such a successful program. Rick Hayes' legacy will forever be a part of Burlington High School. Coach Hayes is Burlington Gymnastics. This dedication is a fitting tribute to such a distinguished professional. Congratulations, Coach.
At this time, I would like to introduce one of the members of Rick Hayes' first gymnastics team. As you can see on the podium, the easel over here. If you want to look at it after, he's in the picture. Billy Breslin.
Thank you. First of all, I am honored to be here tonight to help with the celebration of Rick Hayes. I will tell you that I was a student athlete at Burlington High School 45 years ago. And the reason why I came to gymnastics was pretty simple. I got cut from the hockey team. So there I was with a very good friend of mine who said, well, if you want to do something during the winter, maybe you want to try this gymnastics thing. I had no idea what I was getting into. Gymnastics to me was basically bouncing on the trampoline. So there I went with Blaine Graham and Lee Graham and decided to join the gymnastic team. I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I was probably the worst gymnast that ever came through Burlington High School. I think my highest score was a 4.1. But I got to tell you, I enjoyed every single minute of it. And not because I was doing anything special for the team, but because I was part of the team. And there would have been no team if it was not for Rick Hayes, if it was not for his dedication, if it was not for his ability to bring kids together, and if it was not for his ability to instill, leadership. Leadership is a very important something that you really take with you for the rest of your life. I can tell you seriously that there's been many times in my life that I have run into some very difficult problems. And quite frankly, I would always resort to what Rick would do. And you know what Rick would do? He'd tell you to forget about that routine, go to the next one, come back in on Monday, and we'll have to work on that particular move again. So again, I take a lot of that responsibility, I take a lot of that pride with me as I go through life. I can tell you as a 64-year-old guy who's ready to retire soon, I will always remember what Rick Hayes has done for me in my life. Thank you very much, I appreciate it, and thank you very much.
The next gentleman I'd like to introduce was one of his captains and graduated in 2002, Mr. Jordan Marino.
I started gymnastics at the Marshall Science Middle School, Mr. B, in activity block, and towards the end of my 8th grade year, he had me come up here just to kind of see what the team was all about. And that was the first time I met Mr. Hayes. I'm pretty sure for the first year or two, he knew me. He didn't know my name. He called me Stork. I was so tall and I was really lanky. I didn't take offense to it because I figured at least he remembered a nickname. And coming into the high school, I saw that the upperclassmen, the level of respect that they had for him was something I've never seen before. I was never really an athlete until I joined the high school gymnastics team, so I didn't know how to behave like an athlete. I didn't know how to treat a coach. I really didn't know what to expect on how a coach should treat me. Fortunately, he coached me the way every coach should coach an athlete, and so that's what I learned, to be the only way. And so I stand here before you as Rich Buzewski's assistant coach. It's my 13th year now, only coaching the way he coached me. And it seems to be working. I mean, the athletes are pretty happy, and they're getting pretty good, so that's good. Knowing Mr. Hayes, growing up, I have an incredible family, a great support system. Being in the gymnastics gym for that second part of my life was like a second family. And he was like a second father in a different way. And so spending a lot of time with him as my coach, you know, you get to understand him. You kind of figure out how he works and what his expectations are. And then after I graduated high school, there's like an alumni culture, which you can see is immense and always growing. And being part of that alumni culture, Mr. Hayes has been gracious enough to have me and some other teammates go up to his summer house up in Maine and go water skiing. I've had the opportunity to go fishing with him and a bunch of the guys. And so I learned a lot about Mr. Hayes in that way. And with that knowledge, I don't know, some of you may know Mr. Hayes professionally, some of you know him personally. I'd like to take this moment and just tell you, there are two sides to Mr. Hayes. Have I piqued your interest? Okay. Okay, that's it. There's Mr. Hayes in the gymnastics gym. Strict, regimented, very rigid, brutally honest. Sometimes it hurts. Then there's the other side of Mr. Hayes. Actually, that's just the way he is. There's no two sides. He's still brutally honest, very rigid. So, I'm just teasing you, Mr. Hayes. Congratulations on an award that is well-deserved. I can't think of any other coach that would deserve such a prestigious award. Thank you for everything. Thank you.
The next gentleman I'd like to introduce to speak was also one of Rick's assistant coaches and worked with him in the summer program, and just happened to be his brother, Dan Hayes.
Thank you very much, everybody, for coming tonight, and especially with the incredible weather. A person earlier said to me, there probably won't be very many gymnasts showing up because of the weather. I go, this is a sport where they voluntarily release their body from stable, solid pieces of metal and wood. They will be here tonight, and sure enough, thank you so much for coming. Okay? I'd like to thank Linda, who basically put this program into effect 2 years ago, trying to work and get it done. So Linda, thank you so much. Of course, Bea and Jordan, who keep this train rolling every year. Thank you very much to them. Next, I have a very unique perspective of working with Rick. I was fortunate to be born next to him. And he is an amazing human being. And when we were little kids, myself and the Duffys, Rick would take us in the woods and build toboggan chute runs, rope swings, crazy tree houses 800 feet in the air, cable rope swings, hockey rinks out of swamps. He was coaching before he knew he was going to be a coach. And there's very few people you meet in life that you say, they were born to do this. And Rick was. He was. And as I grew, I joined the gymnastics program, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th grade. And in the summer program, I got to be a summer instructor. And then my body changed and my legs became much bigger than my arms, and I switched to lacrosse. And I was very fortunate because of Rick's influence. I got to be a college Hall of Fame lacrosse player due to Rick. And this hat I wear, this hat I wear tonight was given me when I entered the Peabody High School Hall of Fame as a Hall of Fame coach. And I wore it tonight in honor of Rick and to remind me that I would be nothing without him. Next, as his assistant coach is where I really learned from who he is and what he is. He has absolutely no weaknesses as a coach. And I got to be associated with 7 Hall of Fame coaches in my life. Some of them here at Burlington High, like Joe Levasseur, Billy O'Donnell, Steve Anderson, who started the cross program. And I saw what these programs did, starting them. I was very fortunate to start 2 varsity programs myself. And it's because what this program did and what Steve Anderson did with lacrosse, I know the impact of it. And it changes people's lives forever. Lastly, when I was in Italy, I had the good fortune of going into the Pietà statue of St. Michael, carved out by Michelangelo. And then I went up to Florence and saw his huge block of marble carved into the David. And they asked him, "How do you imagine this?" He said, "I just look at the marble and I release what is in there." Rick released incredible amount of material from all of our lives. He saw things in us that we never saw in ourselves. For instance, when people walk through that door into the gym, there's 5 types of gymnasts. One, the very cerebral and highly intelligent people like Billy Burnett and Rod McKinnon and Doug and Rick Chin, people who are valedictorians of the class, people who won Nobel Prizes, people who go on to be extremely wealthy and giants in industry. And Rick could be right there with them, completely comfortable. Then you would turn and he'd have a different type of person on a different type of piece of equipment. The next group you'd see him with are the high octane, highly intense daredevils, okay? The Simonians, the Donald Morgans, okay? The Rick Hutchinsons. Then you turn, 5 minutes later, he'd be with his favorite group, the Grinders. These are people who come into the gym, and you're like, oh, hope they last. But they grind every day. The Tom Duffys, the Jim Caputos, his own son, Brian, they all leave as champions. Then he's with the gifted, the people who are just phenomenal in the air. They are born to be gymnastic athletes, the Jim Duffys, the John Knowleses, the Joe Arsenaults, things that just, it comes so natural and easy to them. And then the last group that walks through is my group. And my group are the lost souls. They are the wanderers. They just want to be associated with something that is good, that is great. Billy Brisson, who just spoke, was one of them. And Billy's team was phenomenal. They never lost a meet in their inaugural season. You know how hard that is to do? There's only a few teams in the history of the state in any sport that can do that. And Billy was one of those wanderers, and so was I. And I saw it earlier, Mike Cosmo. You see, in Chicago, they're about to have their 5,000th shooting on the South Side. By New Year's Eve, 5,000 young men have been shot. You know what? The opium issue, okay, the shooting issue, you know what that is? Young men, if you don't make them good at something good, they get good at something bad and evil. And Rick did it all in here, and it was free. And we did it year round. Lastly, you had George Ure, who was a brilliant AP teacher. That's the people that Rick attracted. And then a person that nobody knew at night that swept his gym in the old Fox Hill School for practice, Ronnie Danielson. And Ronnie, on his deathbed, said, you know, Rick, I want you guys to take my ashes up to Maine where you fish and scatter them. And we did. We played taps because he was a veteran. And Ronnie, that's all he was the most fun. He looked forward all year to coming up and fishing with all the gymnasts. So Rick, from the lowest of low to the highest of high, everybody benefited from his birth. So to my brother Rick, thank God you were born.
At this time, I'd like to introduce Rick's children, Carrie, Brian, and Jimmy, who are going to come up and say a few things.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for coming tonight. This means so much to us collectively. Seeing faces from a long time ago to present and bringing our family, it's amazing. We grew up a little bit different from the average gymnast, being Rick's children. I remember riding my bike here with Mike Sincotti. It would be 100 degrees, and I think we did it only to get a Coke out of the boys' locker room for 50 cents. That was like summer after summer for us. I remember telling the other kids when I was in class, hey, my dad owns all of this. And I remember it worked for a while, and then one time one kid says, no he doesn't, the school does. I said, well, he's still the director and I can come here anytime I want. And the kid just looks at me and goes, why aren't you any good? I don't know. My father's expectation for us was the same as the other athletes. Once you step foot in this gym, you're expected to give 100% effort. It's not easy having your father coach you. I know the first couple of years for me was tough. I was not good, and I was weak, and every day we would drive home, I would get a lecture of what I needed to do. And I'd be like, Dad, we're at dinner. Leave me alone. Nobody else gets coached at home. And finally, like he did, he said, you know what, you're right, fine. And he let me do my thing, and then I started to get okay, and then I would go home and I would look for his advice. And we would be at dinner, and I remember one time he just looks at me and says, hey, no one else gets coached at home. Figure it out. And I was like, oh, okay. You know, it had turned, and after my 4 years, I was very sad to leave. It was such a successful program, and his expectations for us, you know, it gave us accomplishments. Work hard, it'll pay off. And that's like Danny said, you know, with all the different levels. He didn't care if you were the next Olympian, his kid, or your first day at gymnastics. You know, everyone was expected to try really hard. I'm sorry, Hudson. I'm sorry. I've been trying to avoid him all night. So, you know, that being said, it's amazing. It's amazing having your father as your coach. And to walk in here after a few years and see the gym looking and smelling the same, it's appropriate that, you know, it is the Hayes Gymnasium. And it's great for all of you. Thanks again. And Dad, thank you. We appreciate it.
At this time, I would like to introduce State Representative Ken Gordon, who will make the citation presentation to Rick Hayes.
Let's see, will this work? Yeah, this works. This is fine. Okay, we're gonna come out here. Coach, congratulations. It's my honor to have been invited by Linda to participate in this great day, naming the gymnasium after you. It's so well deserved, and it was humbling to hear all of the speeches about you, all of the opinions about you. I didn't hear much about winning and losing. There was some winning, 80% winning percentage. What we heard was character building. What we heard was how you won. And we know that when coaches set about to build character and to help their students, their athletes, the winning comes. And you figured that out at a very early stage, your very first year here. And it's just, it's my honor to be able to present to you a citation from the House of Representatives. I'm going to read it. It's from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the House of Representatives. Be it hereby known to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers its sincerest congratulations to Richard Hayes in recognition of your many years of dedication to Burlington High School gymnastics on this day of the dedication of the Richard Hayes Gymnasium. The entire membership extends its very best wishes and expresses its hope for future good fortune and continued success in all endeavors. It's given today, the 22nd day of December, 2017, at the State House, Boston, Mass. It's signed by the Speaker, Robert A. DeLeo, and it's offered by me, your State Representative, Ken Gordon. Congratulations, Coach. Stay up here because I've got a really special honor to follow. Is Captain Jonathan Jojo Morgan here? Where's Jojo? He's here. There we go. Come on up. Linda told me the story of your heroism. You were on a fighter jet. It was losing altitude. It was you were going to lose the jet, and you came over a neighborhood. You could have dumped the fuel then. You knew that was the protocol, but you held on because of the neighborhood behind you. You saved the lives of the people in that neighborhood, and you were able to safely eject from the plane yourself. And it's, again, humbling. I can't even begin to describe. It's my honor to stand here with you and to present you with a citation from the House. I'm going to read it to you. I'm going to put on my glasses so I can read every word. It's from the House of Representatives. Come on over. Be it hereby known to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers its sincerest congratulations to Captain Jonathan Morgan in recognition of the honorable achievement of having received the Brigadier General Howard W. Casey Flying Safety Award and Meritorious Service Medal for your life-saving flight performance on April 5th, 2017. You're the youngest who ever received that award, is that right? He wouldn't even tell you, but trust me, he was. The entire membership extends its very best wishes and expresses the hope for future good fortune and continued success in all endeavors. Given this 22nd day of December 2017 at the State House, Boston, Massachusetts, it too is signed by Robert A. DeLeo, the Speaker of the House, and offered by me, your State Representative, Ken Gordon. Everybody, if you'll join me in a round of applause. Today he's competing as an alumni. Can we do one more one without this? Good? Congratulations. Thank you for your service.
At this time now, I'd like to introduce this year's captains, Cody Davison and Caleb Toes. They're going to present Rick Hayes with the plaque that'll hang on the wall, and he'll receive one that will say on it the dedication of the gym to him.
Coach, you have created a solid program at Burlington High School that has allowed many athletes to compete in the awesome sport of gymnastics. We would like to thank you for building such a great program and present you with this plaque. It reads, Coach Hayes, 37 years of service. Your hard work created the character of our athletes. Your dedication and discipline created champions.
They told me not to speak, but I feel kind of obliged. Coach Hayes, I've only ever met you in stories, and you've clearly drawn a crowd today. And I know thoroughly that the stories do live up to the man that I've heard tonight. And the coaches certainly live up to your example. I know our team looks just as gladly on them as we would you. Thank you very much.
And I'd just like to say a couple of closing remarks. Once again, I'd like to thank all the people for coming, and I'd like to thank Linda Ben for all the work she's done, and I'd like to thank the administration. Mr. Sean Hart has put a lot of stuff into the gymnastics, and he's only been here a short time, and we're very gracious to have him. But I'd like to just say a couple of things that, like I said earlier, I had the pleasure of coaching with Rick for 19 years. This is my 31st year in the program. And this comes from the absolute honest. If it wasn't for Rick, I wouldn't be here right now. Because when I came in as a teacher, I was a sub. And when you're a sub back then in 1986, you were the last man in the totem pole. And I know I could have been easily let go. Someone else could have filled the place, but I know Rick always had my back. And I can't thank him enough. And I wouldn't even be living in Burlington if it wasn't for Rick. So thank you, Rick. And I can't think of a better man that deserves this. He's the best man I've ever known. Thank you, Rick.
Marble fall here. I had the best job in the whole world here. It's pretty obvious listening to these people tonight what a great job I had. It was a lot of fun and so rewarding that I can't even tell you. When I listened to Jonathan Morgan speak, I watched Jonathan go through training, and about every third or fourth week he'd give me a call and tell me how difficult things were going, but how he was able to stay in there and hang in there. And just, it was so nice hearing from him every couple of weeks, and that's the way it's been with my whole alumni here. All these people here are what really makes it all worth it. The trophies and the wins are great. We had a lot of fun. This was an awesome place to be. And this gym, I actually designed this when I was 22 years old with an architect and the athletic director and the space committee people. I sat down, we drew out everything just the way it is now, and it really hasn't changed. So when I come in here, I get such an awesome feeling, to be honest with you. My 3 kids were all on state championship teams. They were all captains here. And the experiences that I've had have just been unbelievable. When I first come into the gym, the first one I saw was Joe Levasseur. He had this big smile on his face because he knows how much I hate this attention, but he said to me, "I can't wait to see you sweat tonight." But it's really easy being up here with this group. And if you have any idea the memories that I've had between Olympians and full scholarship gymnasts, and we even chased pigeons out of here one night in the dark. We had mice running around in here, things that I now start to remember this stuff. I don't know, maybe the Alzheimer's is coming in already. It's been so rewarding, and I just want to say thank you to everybody here. And I also want to thank a few people. Linda Bannon, people have no idea how lucky you are to have her in Burlington. Gymnastics can be a dangerous sport. When someone goes down, it's nice to know that they're going to get the best care that you can offer them. And that's Linda. Linda's been here for the longest time doing that, and I hope she continues to stay here. Rich, Jordan, Michelle, and Heather, the coaches that are here now, are continuing to keep the sport going. And when I first started here, it was 97 teams in gymnastics, and so boys teams, and another 97 girls teams. So it was pretty popular. But over the years, it's been a struggle. It's a tough sport, and they keep it going. So congratulations to them. Probably the most important person I have to thank is my wife of 43 years. These are 3 of my grandchildren, by the way. The best 3 people that ever set foot in this gym. I've had a great experience, and I just want to say thank you to everybody. And I had a whole thing I was going to say, but after listening to the alumni, it's really nice to hear nice things, because I see them on the side when no one's around, and they tell me about how many injuries I caused them, and how many problems they have with their shoulders and their ankles and everything. So it's really nice to hear these things. And I could just tell you, I just want to say thank you to everybody. It's been pretty awesome. Thanks again.